I've always helped people remember who they are and feel into their power, feel into what their gifts and their skills are. I've really helped people let go of what no longer serves them and transform that into fuel for their mastery, for them to shift their life into the positive. The magic happens when you can hear your heart sing. Literally hear your heart sing. I just want you to know you were born for this, that you have everything you need to really do you this lifetime. So let's get started. Let's make magic together. Woohoo! Hello, everyone. Greetings, 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 beloved ones. All you light workers, celestial ones, starseeds, come one and all, because we have an exciting show today. We are actually going to be talking to someone I adore. She's just very special. She's a galactic shaman, a contactee, an angelic one, an ascension trainer. I am sure she's an ascended master, and she's all those things that we really want to hear her wisdom and find out how she became her and get those wisdom messages from her. And so, guys, we are living in extraordinary times. These times are requiring us to be our best selves. They're requiring us to step into our fifth dimensional higher consciousness and learning to navigate this 3D world, I think, without actually falling flat on our faces. So I've been guiding people to step into their destiny and remember who they are for over 40 years. And it's my joy and pleasure. So if you haven't visited the website, joanofangels.com, please go visit there. Get your free ebook on how to live your soul-filled purpose. And on that note, too, if you're new to my channel, please like, subscribe, and share so that we can continue growing and reach more people with this ascension consciousness, with miracle mastery, with helping people really thrive and live their best life during these times. So, guys, I'm about to introduce our guest, Waxela Sananda. She is a galactic shaman. She is an embodied ascension trainer. She's a conscious life mentor and activator of spiritual gifts, and author and host of, really, it's an outstanding show, the Alchemy of Ascension Summit and podcast, of which we're going to talk about today. So she combines her celestial starseed consciousness and her shamanic training to hold space for humanity to experience the embodiment of these divine frequencies. She's a conscious light channel. She assists in the activation of spiritual gifts and soul codes. Also, she's been a lifelong extra-dimensional contactee and holds memories from her multiple lives here on the planet. So I'm just really honored to have you on the show, Waxela.
Hi, Joan. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I feel blessed to have you in my life. So it's an honor for me to bring you on here.
Well, likewise, I feel blessed to have you in my life too.
I know. So, and guys, Waxela and I are co-producing certain events on Portal to Ascension. There's the PTA show, which is the first Wednesday of every month. And just to let everyone know, I think we'll put it in the chat. We will be going live next Wednesday on the PTA show. Waxela and I and two others, galactic women. All right, so Waxela, the first thing I have to do is, how did you become you? And is this your, like, how did you start this life in working with people on this highest of all vibrations?
Yeah, so there's, it depends on how far you want to go back. From a very young age, I was a contactee and I had visitations. From my earliest memory, I was around 3. And so the thing that was different maybe about my experience than some of the others that I've heard of is I was left with the program, don't tell the adults, they won't understand. So throughout my whole childhood, I didn't talk about my experiences. I was in rural Iowa, so there wasn't really anyone for me to talk to there anyway. But then as I grew up, I had a lot of multidimensional experiences. I traveled. So I guess the main kind of pivotal thing that happened for me is I traveled with a man who was my twin flame as a walk-in for 3 years. And he trained me in shamanism and contacting the world of the galactics, the angelics, the multidimensional beings, opening portals, crossing souls over, all kinds of things. We did work in all different dimensions for 3 years. And so that really launched me into a much greater understanding of galactic shamanism and what it is to live a spiritual life. And so after that experience, we parted ways, but actually the walk-in walked out. So we didn't really part ways, but physically we became in different places. And that's another story. But I've been on this lifelong journey of exploring consciousness. And I found out at some point that I really love sharing this work. As an adult, I had to learn to talk to the adults about it. I'd shut that down for so many years in my youth, and I just didn't share anything. So I had to get comfortable with being able to express and share my experiences. And now I'm very comfortable with that. I'm a storyteller. I love to convey, really, it's conveying light codes and frequencies and activations through sharing story and helping other people upgrade in that way, as well as I do the summits and have clients and all kinds of different things. But my life is all about sharing it now. So that's kind of in a nutshell how I got here.
Kind of interesting. I love your shows, by the way. They're actually very outstanding. They're very high vibrational. I'm talking about even the ones that you do by yourself. I caught the one you did on the angels the other day, and on being at one with the angels and stepping into that angelic frequency, and just just loved listening to it. It's so you're a celestial shaman as well, I think.
Well,
Right?
I think if you're a galactic shaman, that for me encompasses the seen and unseen and multiple dimensions. So
Yes.
yeah, definitely the
Yeah.
angels and ascended masters are in there.
So are you a walk-in yourself, or Shayla? Let's start there.
Yeah, this is a good conversation to kind of make a distinction. So, I don't consider myself a walk in. However, I have more of my soul embodied now than I did in my youth. And so, what that means is I've been on a spiritual path for a lot of years. Was really, really focused when I was with my twin flame, the galactic shaman who was my twin flame in my early 20s. And so during these experiences and various things that have happened, I have expanded my ability to hold more of my higher self. And I think a lot of people on a spiritual path have done this to one level or another. This is the journey of ascension. As we expand our ability to hold frequency and to hold higher and higher frequencies of light, we're able to embody more of our divine aspects. So, more of our oversoul, if you want to call it that, or our larger soul than the one that we generally come in with. Some people call that integrating the monad. But I don't consider it a walk in experience other than walk in of more of myself. So it's not a soul exchange type of walk in experience. It's more of an opening to receive more of my energy type of experience.
I can see that we have a delay on here. So I had to stop to sort of listen for you. I understand that about walk-ins. I'm a walk-in that's taken many years to sort of complete, but I know I'm not the same person that I was years ago. But it has been confusing for people that it's an upgrade of energy, upgrade of wisdom, and all of your powers, and it seemed to be restored and even growing as we do that. So you're not a walk-in, which is good, but you're a high ascended being. And you say that you talked, do you know where you come from with extraterrestrials? What kind of contact do you have with the star beings? Like, what's your relationship with them like?
Yeah, I like this question. I like all your questions, but so my most recent, if you want to call it, my most recent memories of a different planetary experience are from Sirius B, the water world, and I have been a mer being on a water world for many, many, many millennia. And so when I talk about that lifetime or those lifetimes, it's not only like what we would think of as mermaid or mer people, but also different aquatic life, whales, dolphins, sea turtles, and also even a longer experience of, I remember being light codes in the water, and I would call myself a light courier. So I had some shape and form, but I was kind of like a little rainbow. You want to envision it like that. And I could morph into different forms, but I was light carrying information in the water. And so I could pass into all of the different structures were crystalline. They had information. I could pick up information from, if you want to call it the crystal castles, it's kind of a fun visual. So we'll say from the mer crystal castles, and then maybe there's somebody needs to know something. I can deliver that information to a whale, a dolphin, a sea turtle, any other beings, any mer people or anybody. I can pass right into them, deliver the information, pick up information, and then take that where that needs to go. So I have this memory of being light in the water, very, very minimal density, just light, but being able to change form and shapeshift. I could also go out of the water, but I spent most of my time in the water during those, if you want to call it, incarnations. They're not really they're not really carnations. They're more light beings, but with a little bit of physicality. So that's serious. And then I remember some Lyran lifetimes. My memories of being a Lyran feline are not quite as strong as far as details, but I do have a memory. I've seen the body that I was in, at least in one of those incarnations, and some of the assignments that I was doing, as well as, just minimal details. I've also been Andromedan and Arcturian, and of course Pleiadian. I mean, I think it's kind of like the typical community. I have access to some memories in each of those. Andromedan for me is very geometrical, like conscious geometry, conscious sacred geometries is how I engage with those lifetimes, which is really beautiful and uplifting, but hard to put into words. And so those are some of them. There are also different lifetimes that I've experienced that are much more non-physical and not necessarily related to any type of planet or physical being, but as I have a lot of memory of being kind of like a sphere being, like an actual sphere, and being without much of a body, without much physicality. So this incarnation feels pretty dense to me a lot of the time.
Almost like orb-like, huh?
Yeah.
In a sense. Interesting. So do you have direct contact with the star beings, with your extraterrestrial tribe?
Oh yeah. I have contact with many different beings and star races. In meditation, mostly, I've actually requested to them that they come only in meditation they can let me know, hey, we need your attention. But I've had some experiences in the past where they've shown up in the physical and really scared me like intensely.
Okay,
And
so they showed up in the physical.
yeah, so I mean, and they come, the one of them that just, it was so startling was I had some inner earth beings. They were kind of ET looking, like the traditional ET character, kind of just looked like clay or mud with eyes. And they were very strange. They came in the middle of the night, 12 of them around my bed, and they were poking me energetically and woke me up. And I was scared half to death. I mean, it was really startling. I've had others come in the physical as well. And so after that one, I went into communication with them. I'm like, listen, if you want my attention, just send one and do it in meditation. Let me go meditate and just send one representative. I don't need 12. And they actually had a very beautiful gift for me. And so regardless of the way these beings look, sometimes they look startling or frightening because we're not used to them, but they actually have really good intentions. And I've really never been visited by any being that didn't have my best interest when it was like a conscious being. Okay, how do I word this? So I've definitely had negative entities visit me, but when I've gone into meditation and intentionally reached out, or when they've really shown up in the physical, it has always been for a positive purpose, a positive reason. They have information, they have activations for me, they have some purpose for being there and delivering information to me. And they really get my attention when they show up in the physical. Obviously, they would with anybody, but I much prefer to be contacted in meditation.
That's an interesting point, because I think that's true for many people. Most people don't know that they can actually speak up and have boundaries. Look, we have boundaries in relationships. We can have boundaries with these extraterrestrials who show up on their agenda and not ours. But I was at Sheila Seppi's last month, and I walked into the living room and into a conversation between Sheila's husband and Alan Steinfeld on what would you do if an ET walked in the room? Okay, like how would you feel if a big ET walked in the room? And just being a fly on the wall, listening to them, yes, there's shock or awe, fear, and it really all depends how we've been prepared. And I agree with you. I much rather see it in meditation. But a few weeks ago, a very big ET came to me a while ago, and it was a scary one. And I pushed him out of, go away. I don't want to ever see you, leave. And then I was in a meditation that Alan was doing at the Disclosure Festival, and this being came back, but this time in a much softer, gentler approach. And I actually ended up creating art around them. So I think it was my initial response wouldn't even let me have a good feeling for them at first, just because of, does that make sense? My initial reaction.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And, there's so many different ways to answer that question of how you would react. First of all, you don't know until it happens.
Right.
And I've had a lot of different reactions. Like I've had really lovely looking beings show up and I wasn't threatened or scared at all. I have, like, when I got my name and had a heart awakening and this amazing experience. I was on a Native American doing ceremony in a medicine wheel. I had 2 Mayan grandmothers show up, manifest bodies. They didn't frighten me, they looked very human,
Right. No,
so it depends on how they show up and what they're doing and what the situation is. If it's the middle of the night and you have 12 strange looking guys around your bed, that's startling, even if they're human, that's scary. So the way that they come in makes a big difference, and the body that they come in with naturally is going to make a difference.
So I did wake up one night in North Hollywood, and there were about 12 beings circling me, but they just seemed lovely. I can't explain it. I had no fear of them. And I woke up, I went outside to see if I saw a ship, and I got back into bed. They continued to circle around me. There's no walls in that space, and went back to bed, and I didn't feel threatened. So I do believe just having protection around us and asking for the clear beings to come to us is a great idea, for sure. So now I'm wondering, we talk about angels. I know you're connected to angels as well, and the celestial ones. How do you what do you think is the connection between the angelics and the ETs? Like, they're all higher vibrational, other dimensions than we are. Are they connected in the realms? How do you see that? That's a good question.
Yeah. So I see that as a difference in frequency. I see that as just like in this world, we have our physical human bodies walking around. Simultaneously, we also have deceased loved ones that can be in the same space with us, and we don't usually see them. Some people do, mediums do, psychics do, but most people do not see them. And I think I experience the dimensions as layered. So, we have a lot of different frequency bands within each dimension of reality. And certainly in the angelic realm, which we can think of as sixth dimension and higher dimensions as well, there are going to be bands of ETs in those dimensions. Now, they might not be at the same frequency, so they might not even be aware of each other. They might not see each other, or they might, just depending on what type of being they are and the frequency that they are vibrating at. And it really all comes down to frequency and vibration. And we're going to see and experience the beings and the experiences that are a match to our frequency, or at least within the frequency band that we are able to perceive. So, for someone like me and you, we've spent a lot of years stretching and expanding those frequency bands of what we're able to perceive. So we might be able to perceive things that the average person that hasn't done that doesn't probably experience, like other dimensions of reality, ETs, angels, ascended masters, things like that. That doesn't mean that we're special or that those beings aren't there for other people. It just means that maybe they haven't practiced experiencing them, seeing them, and opening to receive communications from them.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You don't hear reports of people seeing angels and ETs at the same moment. They're usually different kinds of encounters. And I always think of the angelic ones as really here for sort of as allies for our personal growth. They have our life plan. They know what our destiny is, in a sense, and they're here for our highest growth. That's the ETs have a different agenda, I think.
Yeah. If that's a question, I can answer that as,
what's a question?
I think with any being, including the angels and the ETs, obviously there's a huge range of ET beings or ultra dimensional beings, if we want to call them that. There's also a huge range of angelic beings. We've all heard of fallen angels. So angels can be a large spectrum of frequency. It's possible, that some angels maybe don't have our highest interest, but we generally are referring to the angels that are assisting us, helping us, supporting us, and protecting us. And those are the angels that we want to work with. And so I think that, they have different agendas depending on who they are and their mission. Just like people, we all have different missions and different purposes in our lifetimes. So we might be assigned certain angelics and ascended masters and ultra dimensional beings or ETs throughout our lifetime, depending on those change, depending on where we are in our process and our mission and our purpose. I've certainly had a lot of different guides from a lot of different realms pass through my life. And that's true, I feel like in every frequency band. So we could get, I think we do have a guardian angel or more than one assigned to us throughout life, but certainly I've worked with various different angelic beings throughout my life, not just one. And they're not bound by space and time. So they can come in and out of our awareness and perception when it's right and when we're ready.
And that's the most important part. And when we're ready, for these activations when we're open to receive them. So I know that you have gathered together. How many ascended ascension teachers have you gathered together for this Alchemy of Ascension series? Do you want to tell us about it?
Yes, I'd love to. So, one of my missions or purposes is to bring together teachers and wonderful people that are here to serve others in the realm of ascension. And so I created the Alchemy of Ascension show. It's a summit and podcast series. And season 6 is about to launch. I'll do opening ceremony September 17th, and it launches officially on September 18th. I have 33 speakers. I didn't plan it that way. That's just the number that I ended up with. And the theme of this show is exploring expanded states of consciousness. And what's so fun about this is when people think of expanded states of consciousness, one of the obvious things we think of is drug experiences or near-death experiences. And, there is an element, we do have those, but there are so many different ways to have expanded states of consciousness, whether it's creativity and flow states, states of deep meditation where you are connecting to guides and angels and masters. There are just so many different ways to expand out of our, if you want to call it, normal way of thinking in life. And that's what this summit is focused on. So the intention that I have for this summit is that someone who comes in and listens to each one of the speakers, the 33 speakers over 3 weeks, they will come out of the experience with all of this information on how to access expanded states of consciousness for themselves. And it doesn't require drugs. You don't have to be some sort of yogi or someone who's meditated for 10 years or more. You can do this completely naturally. And I feel like having people share, people like you, Joan, since you're one of my wonderful speakers, but having all of these different people share how they do it and what their experiences are, it creates a pathway for others to understand, maybe I could try that, or I've done that, or that happens to me. I didn't realize that was an expanded state of consciousness. So it's a pathway for people to experience their own expansion.
No, I agree. And it's a confirmation for people who are already having contact and in learning, and something about hearing guidance, getting tools of that you don't even know about really does help. And you're a great interviewer. So I actually love being on your summit, and a lot of amazing people that I know happen to be on your summit this time as well too. So it's actually an honor. Guys, you really should. The link has already been posted, but definitely go and look, sign up, let everyone know. Joan of Angels, you saw the show, and I think you'll actually get a lot of value from all of these speakers. I also want to share with everyone, I think I actually can share it out, the PTA show that we're going to do. I'm very excited to be doing a show next week, guys, with wa-shay-la. Let's see if I can get it. And it's going to be on the 8th. Not the 8th. It's second Wednesday. Every third Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday, September 14th, coming up next week. You're going to have wa-shay-la, myself, Shariah, and Mariana. And it's going to be a very interesting event. We're going to be talking about reclaiming your power to ascend the timeline. So everything that wa-shay-la has been doing actually has to do with ascension. So that'll be a preview to even the summit for some of us, I think.
Yes, that'll be so much fun. I'm looking forward to doing that show with you all these amazing women that I get to play with. It's so much fun.
Right. And guys, it's free. You can sign up. The link is also in the comments below, theptashow.com, and then check out wa-shay-la's summit. I think you're going to enjoy the summit. It's a free summit, 33 speakers. By the way, 33 is a magical master number, which actually is important to both of us. You're a 33 life path. I'm a 33 life path. And that's super duper communication, leadership, and stepping into who we are. And so, guys, when you participate in something like this, you do step into your higher self. You have a chance to raise your vibratory frequencies. So, wa-shay-la, any messages from the celestials for us, or any last minute message for us that we could take
Ooh.
with us today?
Yeah, I'd love to. Let me tune in here for just a second. So I'm really getting this like empowerment, this theme of empowerment, where we're really being encouraged to embody and step into our unique divine power to share. You know how I said I didn't share much when I was a child because that was shut down. It's probably a good thing that I didn't, but I had to relearn how to share my truth, how to speak my truth, how to be authentically the expression, the full expression of myself in this lifetime, even though it's different, even though it's weird and not normal. And I know you did this too, Joan. This is a call. This time is really giving us that push and that boost to step into our empowerment, step into your truth, step into just speaking and saying and sharing the deepest truth of who you are, and let your words, your actions, even your thoughts represent the highest truth that you are here to be an expression of. And that will really give you a huge boost on your ascension journey.
I love that. Tuning into ourself, really going within, getting the messages, very, very powerful. And we're all on this journey together. Isn't that, I think. So it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one more thing. If I have one more minute to share, I'm opening up. I felt so lonely when I was a child, not having anyone to share with. So a big part of my mission is to bring people together to be able to communicate. I know that's part of yours too, Joan. And so I'm creating a membership, which is going to launch next month in October, which is all about the Ascension conversation, a community where people can have a forum to interact, where it's not on Facebook. It's a community designed to bring people together in their ascension journey. I will be the host of it, but it's not about me. It's about everybody that joins and community and interaction. And we're going to do lots of fun stuff in there together. So stay tuned if you want to hear more about that. I'll be sharing more soon.
I think that's very exciting. Guys, working with Waxela, just having her presence, you're just like such an angelic being just looking at you and designed. So your presence, your high vibration, your wisdom, your particular brand of galactic shamanism, for all those reasons, guys, sign up for the summit, sign up to work with Waxela, and definitely show up on the day that I'm there too, so you can listen to our interview and get some of that wisdom. Meanwhile, Waxela, I'm going to see you next week, and I'm really excited about it, and we really appreciate your just being on with us.
Thank you so much, Joan. I love you. I love everything you're doing. Thank you for all that you do and your angelic light. Namaste, everybody. Thank you.
Namaste, honey. All right. Guys, that was so profound to spend some time with her. She is, she's got that resonance of ascension. She's authentic. She's had these experiences. She's a true wisdom teacher. She's a true master. So I hope you do sign up for the summit, come in and see it, join us, and continue on, and then enjoy to sign up next week for the PTA show. I think you'll enjoy that as well. Meanwhile, guys, I so appreciate sharing just this moment of time, like where we step into out of our normal life and step into something that's higher consciousness, higher vibration, learning wisdom from masters around the world. So I'm your guide, Joan of Angels. Step into the miraculous each week with us. Visit me at joanofangels.com, and be sure to share this out with your loved ones as well. And we'll see you all next time. Have a miraculous week. Love you all.